ring.
Of death.
Ooh.
Why would you bring it up to the table?
I was just in my pocket.
Don't just hand out a black ring of death and spin it. It's gonna land on someone. Someone's gonna. Shh. You were totally irresponsible.
I was pointed at me. Don't worry, I die. Don't worry, guys, I die.
What happens if he does now? Like, this is on camera. This is gonna be like
but
the
then we
ring.
know that ring has that power.
Yeah, this is like the ring, and anyone who watches this video, they've got like, what,
Don't
7
spin
days?
it again.
Why would you?
Why are you doing that?
You are like really not understanding
Masochistic.
the detrimental foundations of what's going on.
Oh no.
Shit me again. Okay, well, I'm dying just double time. All right. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. Here we go,
guys, welcome
kids.
to Table Talk. This is going to be one of our last ever Table Talks ever. Someone
least for
will die
Sam.
by the end of this episode.
Oh.
I got good luck. I got good
I was in
feeling.
my family.
I'm in again. Don't worry, guys. I will be dead by the end of this episode.
We better make it good.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Don't talk about
wood.
my woman like this.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I've just decided that making out with furniture is completely acceptable.
It's
Come
in the
on,
Bible.
that's a beautiful looking kiss mark.
Jeremiah.
It's in the Bible.
Isn't it?
Deuteronomy.
What's it?
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy. I remember
Deuteronomy.
that Sunday school
You ever get
class.
the song?
There's a
There's a
song.
song?
There's a song.
There's a-
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy.
What's
Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy?
Joshua, Judges, Ruth, and it goes on.
Everyone's favorite part of the Bible, rules. That's what happens in there. That
Deuteronomy
number.
and Leviticus
Yeah.
are all of the
I
rules.
thought there were 10 rules.
There's
No,
10
no.
commandments. Those are like there's hundreds of rules, and then God was like, but if you're really only gonna follow 10 of them, these are the ones that you should follow.
Yeah.
And then Jesus was like, if you're really gonna follow like 6 of them, these are the 6 that you should follow.
Wow.
So they just kept narrowing them down all the way
What
through
are
the
the
Bible.
6?
The 6 were like, I just read them last week. They were like, love your neighbor, don't cheat on
I don't
anybody.
even know my neighbor.
Okay,
What if they're a dick?
Does it literally mean the next door neighbor?
Well, I mean, depending
can, but it also
on the
does, yeah.
interpretation.
I've never met my neighbor. And what's the other ones?
Love your neighbor, don't commit adultery.
I'm in the table.
Don't kiss inanimate objects. That was a big
Shit,
one.
that's
He was
big
really,
number
yeah.
3.
I'm
And
sorry.
he talked about that for a while. Well, now how's the table gonna?
We don't have a therapist for that. There's no therapist
What
for
were
that.
the other ones?
There's a bunch. It's just be a good person.
Yeah, don't
Don't
murder,
steal,
don't
don't
steal.
Oh, that's my
These are the
life
10
motto.
commandments,
Don't,
yeah.
don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's really
Don't be a
so
dick.
hard for some
Jesus
people.
said don't be a dick, but then like he's like, hold on, let me be more
Let me,
specific.
let me
let
preface.
me break it down.
Let me, yeah.
All right, listen up, guys.
Yeah. Guys, let us know your thoughts on religion in the comments down
Oh,
below.
fuck,
That'll
no,
always be
no, no,
fun.
I'm
I would
sorry
love.
I look so ignorant. I didn't ever study the Bible. I got ripped out of religious studies when I was a kid because we had the little old fuddies from the church decide to teach us little kids at school about, religion, and my mum's a psychologist.
Not at the Christian school, like a regular public school.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
at a public
That's a little
school.
sh-
We
okay,
had religious
different.
education half an hour every week. And I remember I came home one time and I think Mum was like, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, oh, you can't be angry. Anger is a sin. Because that's what I'd learnt that day.
Well, okay.
And Mum's like,
yeah.
anger is, hold me back. To my dad, hold me back. Because,
She's gonna hit you.
no, yeah. She's like, anger's an emotion. Anger isn't a sin, but what you can do when you are angry could be. She's like, right.
How
She
old
ripped-
were you when
I
this
was
happened?
8.
Oh, so they were doing it real young.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so
That's
I
different than
never
what I was thinking.
was taught about that ever again.
Huh, interesting.
Yay!
I chose to
Agnostic.
actually go to church. I
Did you?
chose to go to church because I was interested. I was like, what's the whole fuss about? And then I went. I mean, my church was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about religion. I apologize to everyone who's like,
Yeah.
a church.
You know what?
Okay.
I go to one in Hollywood, and it's really cool.
Oh,
because
you like
it's
to
like
brag,
an LA.
huh?
Yeah, I know, bro.
In Hollywood.
I go to
huh?
Hollywood. No, it's
And
really cool.
Anyone who kind of is falling more on the agnostic or atheist side, don't worry. There's everyone's got a
Yeah.
little bit of everything. There's
Yeah.
so many religions out there. As long as you're not hurting anyone, it's all fine. But
there's
don't feel
only
bad if you're not.
one
And
right.
don't feel bad if you are. I guess.
That's great,
I
but,
wanna
like,
say. Yeah.
follow Jesus,
That's
please.
great, but you're going to hell.
Right, yeah, and we'll talk about that
Oh, I've
later.
been going to hell for a while. I'm
Oh
like-
my God! There was definitely a little kid in my school that would go around and telling all the kids who were not Christian that they're all going to hell, and he didn't even feel bad about it.
I did that once.
You piece of shit!
Hold on. It was sixth grade. It was a Bible
You're going
camp.
to hell.
It
You're
was-
going to
It
hell.
was a Bible. I went to Bible camp in
Bible.
6th grade, and I told this. We had this whole talk about talking to your friends about it, and I went up to this kid that I had never met besides 2 days before, and I was like, so why don't you believe in God? And he's like, I just don't. I'm like, but so you're okay with going to hell? And I was basically trying to guilt him. Listen, it was 10 years ago.
You're a little brat.
I was a little brat. I'm not anymore.
You're religiously manipulative.
He was.
This was a decade ago.
Okay.
I was
you
like
can't
11.
blame him. He's
What was
10.
I like a decade ago? Oh, I was just trying to score a patch down at the pub.
That's so cool. Wait, a decade ago,
You were a year old.
going into the
We
7th
go-
grade?
I think
Going to 7th grade? From Reddit, the Phoenix writes, if you could host a new show on SourceFed, what would it be? This is a very interesting question. JD, would you like to take it away? JD didn't plant this question, did he?
A decade ago? I was 11.
Yeah, he's a year
I'm
younger
21.
than me. Yeah. Hell yeah, 21.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're 22.
I know, but you're 21
I need to
now.
sacrifice some small animals so I can like live 5 years longer and look 5 years younger.
Is that how that works?
Apparently.
Did that Deuteronomy as well?
I
I don't remember reading that for a while, but I think it is.
This episode-
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Well,
Who's
what kind
the
of
oldest of them all?
what kind of show would you
I'll
want?
let you guys do the nerd stuff in a second. But.
Oh, thank you, JD.
So when we first started doing all these exciting changes with all the new channels and stuff,
Yeah.
I made a big like blog post about it, just saying, hey, just so you guys know, all this stuff's gonna change.
Was it with the sheet music for the Exciting Changes song?
It was before we had.
Exciting
Oh, I'm not doing this.
Exciting changes,
exciting changes
are one day
happening.
happening,
One day
but it sounds better if we just sing it, 'cause it's like smoke and mirrors, when is it happening?
I thought it happened. Did it happen?
So I
No one
said
let
in
me
the
know.
I said in the post, I said
Let us know in the comments below.
So here's what's
Were you
happening,
excited
guys.
and or feel changed?
I said we're canceling SourceFed and we're starting SourceFed Soccer.
here we
And Star made this really cool image and like it was like soccer balls and SourceFed, and I was like, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then like immediately after I said, that's not happening. And then everyone in the comments was like, why would you cancel SourceFed for a soccer show? And
Yeah,
then
I was
other
one of those people.
But other fans were like, you guys should do a soccer show. And ever since then I've been like, if I could do one thing in my life here, besides manage all of the social media, I would have a soccer show.
If I could
I
do
don't know,
one
it would never
thing-
do well. It would be so, but like
Because I was about to say, like, one time I was like, I want to do a whole show where, like, I just, like, try on, like, really cool ties. And people were like, that'd be really cool. But, like, really, that wouldn't be very cool for anybody, not even me. So,
You'd get bored after
there's
two
an
episodes.
Did
audience
you
for
play
after,
for
like,
like
everybody.
TIE Fighter at least?
fuck.
If there's like another pun in my, there will not be puns in my shows. Not one pun. If it happens,
TIE Fighter. Oh my God,
I know.
That's
I
good.
oh,
That's good. But he's not
You've gotta-
fighting ties. He's just trying on
Have
different
you put
ones.
on a tie?
Yeah.
That's
I
a
just learned.
fight. That is a.
You just
I,
learned.
Like last year, I learned how to tie my own tie.
I
My dad
had
used to do
proud
it
of
for
you.
me.
tie a tie.
I turned 21. I learned how to tie a tie.
it's a big year
It's a
for
big-
Jamie.
It's,
best.
You got catch and
Wait, when'd you learn?
tie. Okay, so the high school that I went to was an awful. See the green screen? It's kind of that color uniform. Yeah.
Oh,
But, like,
cool.
more apple
Chroma
colour.
green.
But that was our summer uniform. But we had a summer and a winter school uniform. And in winter we had a tunic, a blazer, a dress shirt,
tunic?
and a tie.
Wait, a tunic is something that I'm thinking. I think I'm getting it wrong. What is a tunic?
No, I'm thinking of like.
A tunic is like
you
a,
get, like,
it's
a
like a
big-
smock dress kind of deal.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
definitely
guys,
thinking
it
of something
was
else. Yeah.
bad.
you
Thinking
thinking
of
of?
sacrificial lamb kind of tunic. That's what I thought.
What
Sorry.
is that?
Huh? It's
I
like,
joke about being agnostic one time and then I'm going to sacrifice something to keep my fountain of youth. And you just think that that's... You're holding the death ring. Can I just
Yeah.
really...
Pointing at you right now. Well,
I was just.
There's
I
a
didn't
little
know what
rich.
a tunic is. If we're being honest, I didn't know
that's
what a
all it
tunic was.
I just know the tunic
Yeah.
Back to soccer. I think that it's
Soccer?
really unfair for soccer.
was.
Soccer, but I've never met her. I just think it's really...
Sorry. I think that was the first ring land. I think that's what that was.
first
Sorry.
He's gonna kill himself or someone very soon.
Oh,
I
damn.
think it got the hard end of the stick. What's that thing called? It got...
The short end of the stick?
That's it.
There you
got
go.
the whole hard yard.
In what sense did it get destroyed?
It is literally like one of the few sports where it is a foot on a ball the
Yeah.
the whole time, and yet everything else is called football
Right.
except that sport.
Yeah.
That's bull. On behalf of football,
I read something about it though. How
bullshit.
like American football became football. It was like they brought rugby, they brought soccer over, and then they brought rugby over, and then like football was used in association terms, and then like they just took it for the NFL. And so like it was just like transferred. They didn't go like no, this is more football than the other one. But it still doesn't make sense where we are now with it.
And here's football, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever, like football. You know what football is, and I feel so bad.
Is that
for them.
America?
No, that's the England where they call football.
Yeah.
And And now in Australia, it's like Aussie rules football, even though there's some kicking, and rugby, union and league is a lot of passing and not really foot on a ball. The sport where it spends the most time with a foot on a ball is not recognised as football.
Only here, though. Really only here. And that's just because of...
And Canada. A little.
So maybe you
Is
should,
it
you
soccer
should
in Canada?
apologise
They got
to the rest
American
of the
football.
world. on behalf
I'm
of-
sorry for all Americans calling football soccer. I'm sorry.
My experience with soccer
I
was
think it
that
would help.
there was this kid on my club soccer team when I was a kid, and he
Football.
got a cup, and
Call
he would
football
knock
now,
on
please.
it. He would knock on it during the soccer match.
Well, it
During
sucked
the
in
match
then.
you would do
They
it?
Sock him. You would sock it.
During the middle of the game, he would do it?
He would stop when the ref wasn't looking, and he would go.
Is it still there?
Did he at least have a joke lined up? So he'd be like, "Who's that?"
No, he was. No, Richard, 9-year-old was not that clever. God damn it.
What would you guys do?
For a
you had a
show,
show,
if I had a
what would you
show,
do? Yeah.
Do we ask the question?
Yeah, I asked the question through it. It was what kind of show would you
What
want?
kind of
And
show
you
would
had
you want?
soccer.
I would do a
Yeah.
soccer show. I would do a sports show. I know that would never happen, but like, there's not a lot of sports shows on YouTube. I think there's like a little bit of an opportunity for one there. Is there?
Yeah, and no, and
I
just
think-
the younger audience, like the people who
Yeah.
like we like movies and stuff.
Yeah,
like, there's
yeah.
still like people. There's a huge
Well,
audience for
and
sports.
people who
so.
like YouTube generally aren't like sports people. So it's like the people who do like sports aren't normally on YouTube looking for shows about
They're on
it.
ESPN. And
Yeah, exactly. So
or
I
on their
think-
websites. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
I think it would be awesome. I don't think there really is a market for that yet. There's a couple, but that's what I would do.
is it like a talk show? You're gonna talk
Yeah,
about
there's
soccer?
one. Talk show.
Sure,
Kind of review. I don't know. Yeah.
Gross.
I'm
Yeah. I'm trying to put it out of my head. She's been
Fighting
doing it
its
for
way
20
back.
minutes. Well, what would you guys do for your shows?
not sport. I'm sorry, I'm not a stereotypical geek in most senses, but the part about being a nerd that I'm most proud of is that I really have nothing to do with sport. I don't
like any sport?
I just am not a sports person.
Not
Really?
one.
I mean, if you're at the actual game where it's
They're a
happening,
lot of
there
fun.
is such a good vibe and you just find yourself getting into it. I will never, ever, ever sit down and put on a sports game.
My fiance's the same way because I took her to a game once and she loved it. It was like Manchester United versus LA Galaxy and it was awesome. She loved it. And ever since then I'm like, hey, there's a game Sunday morning. You want to watch it? And she's like, I really don't want to watch it. I cannot
You're
sit down and
marrying
watch
this
that.
woman.
I know.
Yeah.
She'll learn. She doesn't watch table talk. She wants it.
Soccer!
She'll sock me.
I'm gonna be honest. I went to a baseball game and I fell asleep. It is
I think that is
boring.
baseball.
Do you know
and-
what I
Also
like
couldn't
about
drink
it?
yet, so.
I like
Oh.
the womp 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 womp.
Charge.
Like, I'm about that.
Yeah, it's fun, right? You like when they do
Yeah.
like crowd things, like, oh, they're doing the wave, and it's my turn. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I told you what it's called in Australia.
Ooh, you guys, Americans at home, you guys
Where
ever...
was the wave originated? Where
think-
where
I'm
did
gonna
it
say
first
here,
start?
wasn't it?
Americans,
Germany?
you know of
Nice.
Indian
That's a different movie I'm
burn.
thinking of.
It's a very
Facts.
racist term when you rub your arms like this.
Can we get a fact check? We've got two computers here and I'm going to stop you from working for 2 seconds. Can you please find the origin of the wave?
Because what do you call it?
What do you call it?
Eek. I, not personally, where I grew up, there's just a few little changes in some things that I didn't realize could possibly be racist until now. And one of them was the Mexican wave.
It's just, you know, it's just enough.
No, because I
it's
think
just enough.
I think it
tip
originated in Mexico.
You know, you could
We don't
say that,
call it
but we
that,
call
yeah.
it the wave. We call it the wave.
And we're right there.
No one's ever been like, is there another name for it? Where did it come from? It's
But we
just
don't
the wave.
say it in a derogatory way. It's a
And if someone said
Neither
we
did
should
we
call it
call-
the Mexican wave, we go, no, we'll just call it the wave.
Neither
Not
did we
Mexican.
when we said when we would sit Indian style. That wasn't derogatory, but it is very derogatory. It is very bad.
Oakland, California.
Oh, shit! Oakland, California.
Oh.
Australia
wow.
I
is
have no
racist.
idea why
Australia
we call it
is
that.
racist. That's a bad chant.
That's just one of about
bad.
I think we're just as bad as the people who call it the Mexican
Outside
wave.
The United States calls it the Mexican wave.
Everywhere outside
But
of the
it's
United
never every
States.
year.
To be wrong.
America's got real nothing to hold claim to, you know. We don't-
America's
got
a
the
little
wave.
PC.
We got the wave.
We got the wave.
Little PC.
Social justice, 1, 2, 3. I wanna be PC.
I'm offended that you would say that to
look-
me
There it
on
is.
the internet. Like that's really, really.
Yeah, I'm
weird.
offended that you find that offensive.
I'm offended that he's not saying anything about this conversation going on.
I'll be
No.
offended with if you say anything.
Yeah, I'm offended by your.
'Kay.
beard. Oh.
Welcome to the internet in 5 seconds.
Sam doesn't let it
So the
phase
rest of
him
the world. So hold on, the rest of the world's okay with this, but America calls it the wave.
because it came from here.
Yeah.
What do you guys call What's the game where you whisper something and pass it down the line?
Telephone. It is called telephone.
I know what you're thinking it's called, and I've heard that before.
You know what it is called?
Telephone.
What? What? Say at the same time what you think it is
Oh,
called.
Yeah, we'll pass it around.
It is not actually called that.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
In
I've heard it.
everywhere
I've
else
heard
in
it
the-
called that. I have heard it called that.
It's called.
Telephones? Are you
Telephone.
see what? Where else
No, it's
calls
just
it the
one
other
telephone.
thing?
The other thing is Chinese
Chinese
whispers.
whispers. Yes, I've heard. Have you not heard that? I've heard that before.
Where else is it in the world does it
It's
call?
also called Russian Scandal.
Yeah. All right, on behalf
I like
of
that one
Russia.
the
Russian scandal.
They've got Russian roulette and Russian scandals. They got the two best games.
Yeah, you shoot or talk. I mean, I know what I'd rather do. But I mean, like,
Telephone is pretty safe, huh?
Yeah, telephone is a really safe term for it.
but we don't go. I'm not like 6 years old going, let's play this game because I hate everyone. Like, it's
I
just
know.
what it's called.
Right.
Again, like what we
It's
said.
subtle racism.
Yeah, it's just casual.
Yeah, just
everyone's
casual
hanging
racism.
out and just
But
being
I'm
a
not
little racist.
racist.
Huh? I
I'm
know.
not.
Well, you're
Okay,
casually a racist.
everyone's a little bit racist,
Yeah.
even though they don't mean to be. I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
Or
right?
is it that there are ingrained stereotypes that people use to fuel a racist remark?
But
Sounds
ingrained-
like a long way around to racism.
Yeah, that's still racism. A little bit.
I haven't played that game since I was a kid, I'll have you know. And frankly, when the wave is going around, I rebuke. Is rebuke a word? What does rebuke mean? Can you search up that word?
Do we?
I
So wait, we don't even know what a
wave.
word is. Like, can you
I
look
think I meant
up a
to say
synonym for?
It's the Mexican review. It's the Mexican review.
I think I meant to say refute, but I don't think that's any better.
Rebuke is to express sharp disapproval.
There you go. Rebuke.
Oh,
good.
someone reads
You did
books.
it. You did have to look it up though.
Yeah,
you
you know
did
what
have to
though?
look
If I said
up.
it with confidence and didn't even mention a thing, you guys wouldn't have questioned it at all.
That's how I get through life. Don't know half
do
the
it
words
so
I'm
often.
saying.
Sorry,
I
next
read
question.
a question.
Okay.
Is this it?
I don't know. You could.
Savannah Gonzalez. Hi, Savannah Gonzalez. The wave. What is your favorite unknown folklore urban legend? Ooh, what is your
You got
favorite
one?
unknown folklore
Okay, I
got one, you got
urban
one.
legend?
All right, unknown is a little
Yeah.
specific.
Folklore.
All right.
They've got to be
urban
known to an
legend.
extent.
All right. So, Sam really likes scary stories, and I was reading about the rake. Do you guys know about the rake?
The rake.
The rake.
That's racist. Can you please
Yeah.
rephrase that?
Sorry, the Mexican rake? Is that better? Sorry. Is that more appropriate
how
for the
I'm
worldwide
aghast
audience?
here?
No, it's the rake.
See how
Okay,
I'm aghast?
all right, go on, the
Your
rake, the
racism
rake.
is because I'm
You
not.
can't recover from the term that you taught us. Anyways, the rake
rake.
is this like kind of humanoid creature that's in the woods, and it's like any encounter with it is super violent. There's a story about
Where?
a boy in Pennsylvania, kind of
So it's
like
not
that
like
area.
Slender.
There's
Slender
a lot
Man.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there's a lot in Pennsylvania.
must be
They're
very
bored,
bored.
there. Yeah, they're bored there. But anyways, it would always attack like livestock, but also there's horrific stories where people try to hunt it down because it makes a specific sound in the
Like
woods.
what?
I
I
don't
love
know.
urban legends.
I love urban legends too.
They're really
love
great.
it.
They're great.
How can you?
I believed in the chupacabra for years.
I only just
Wait,
found out what
just-
that was a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
Yeah.
don't have that in
sucker.
Australia.
No, that's the
Well,
mystical.
I learned about it from scary campfire stories. Like when I was young and some dad was telling me stories. I'm like, this is
What's
the
your
greatest
favorite?
thing. My favorite
urban legend or-
I just read about this one yesterday. Bringing it back around to religion. I was watching Elliot Morgan's comedy special, Premature, and he mentioned a sea dragon in the Bible, and I looked it up, and it's totally true. Like this thing called the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, yes.
It's all over the New
Oh, yeah, the
Testament.
Leviathan.
Yeah, and it's like this
Wait,
giant like
New Testament?
and Old Testament. Both.
Oh, okay,
sorry, I
sorry.
meant
Okay,
old.
yeah,
I
I
meant
was like-
old. But like
Sorry,
apparently
one was with
he made a
Jesus.
bunch of them, right? He made like these giant sea snakes. There's a whole section in Job talking about how like scary this thing is, just scales and like breathes fire and all
Yeah,
this
it's a
stuff.
sea creature, sea monster. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be huge. And apparently he's slain one before to like feed people. And there's like more of them though, because he talks about there being more and them coming in like Revelation and stuff too. But like, it makes sense that this is where it gets a little like conspiracy theory, a little bit like Loch Ness monster. Sounds a little bit like
Yeah.
not that it is, but like the idea that something like that
I
is
thought
involved is
Loch
really
Ness
cool.
monster is like a sea diplodocus.
Yeah, that's what they normally call it, but I think like Loch Ness monster is the shorthand term.
Yeah, but just
for
say the word diplodocus.
Is that for sure
Isn't
the
that the
term?
best?
Diplo.
No, it's,
Docus.
it's just one of the best.
That's a spell, isn't it?
best. Oh my god, is that what I sound like when I do that?
Is it? Oh,
Ouch.
you want to know what it's
Wow,
like?
yeah.
That's what it's like.
I have to only support you through this.
No, you don't
Ah,
have to.
Diplodocus.
Do you guys ever like look at like how many lores there are for Bigfoot and like you're like that's a little suspicious.
I like the ancient stuff. I don't like the
Yeah.
modern day stuff. So I'm.
Do you believe in a lot of these urban legend type things?
Here's
like,
a
do you give any
blanket.
credence to it?
Yeah, I have a blanket statement. There's no reason why they couldn't exist.
I agree.
My favorite. I've been very, very open and honest about my addiction to Quiz Up, which is where I play quizzes with sometimes random people, sometimes people I know, but no one wants to play back with me. That's fine. But you can specialize on topics, and I love myths and folklore. And anything I didn't know, like as I'm answering these questions, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But my very first A in high school, I got because I wrote a short story about the Minotaur in the labyrinth, and my favorite subject, well, one of them at school, was ancient history.
Yeah.
But the Greek mythology is the shit. I
so
love
cool.
that.
It's so complicated too. Everybody's having sex with everybody. And there's monsters being born. It's great.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Odysseus?
Odysseus, yeah.
Like, amazing. That with the sirens and the cyclops. Like, love that.
It's my jam.
The only exposure I ever had to that was reading like the Oedipus trilogy in like AP literature or something.
You read
Oedipus
it, Oedipus?
Complex.
Yeah, Oedipus. Yeah, like there's like 3 like little short stories or something. And we read all of those, and like that's like really the only exposure besides like stuff that you hear to Greek mythology.
Oh,
But it's
Jason
awesome.
Wait, really? You didn't
Gold.
read it in like elementary school? There was
No,
really?
not
Oh yeah,
little-
in
not
6th
little
grade.
Michigan, not little one.
Oh really? In 6th grade, it
Sure,
was
in the Bible.
all
No.
Greek. It was all.
Was
Greek.
it really?
Yes, it was so.
That's
cool.
really cool. No, we didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
6th
I'm
grade, I was
about
reading
that.
like Boxcar Children and shit.
What's your...
My favorite myth is the Boxcar Children.
What's the myth
The myth?
that you like?
I said the Leviathan. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
more
yeah.
like a, I mean, you know, myth,
Right.
real. not-
Rake. You didn't pick one.
What is the rake, though?
Minotaur.
It's like a
you said,
humanoid
right?
creature with long fingers. They always have like those hunting cameras that like catch it when it's moving or like whatever. But it like it just is like this skinny, gangly thing that goes through the woods.
Sounds
and
like a dendroid.
Oh, I changed my answer. Goatman. Do you guys know about Goatman? Oh my God, it's terrifying. You
sounds
guys
a
know
little
what
bit
Goatman
familiar.
is? Goatman. Okay, so Goatman is a it's like Native American. It's a creature that can shapeshift. So the way it works is, the story that I read that scared the bejesus out of me was that this family goes camping in the South, and
He's got the death ring on.
oh my
He's in
God,
one
the death
frame.
ring! Oh, I'm
Number 2, here we
excited.
go.
So there's this group, and one of the kids separates to go to a cabin and come back to the camper where they're staying. And when he's walking through the woods, he sees his brother standing in the woods, but his back is to him, and he's twitching. But he's not turning around, and he's whispering to himself, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on with John?" So he like goes
Oh,
back,
John.
and John is at the
John?
campsite. And he's like, "Why were you in the woods?" He's like, "I wasn't in the woods." And he's like, "Yes,
That
you are.
oh.
You're right over there." And he can point, and he's gone. And he's like, "What?" And like so, throughout the night, they start to hear things moving around. Oh my God! I just remember the twist at the end. I have to tell you. Okay,
finish the story, seriously.
Okay, so they go into their camper and they lock up, but.
I feel
throughout
like
the
we
night-
should dim the lights and have like a campfire.
Oh, we should have like a spooky story show. That's my show that I want.
no,
Okay.
all right.
But okay, so they throughout the night.
Look at our 2 production guys on their phones, not invested in the story, not trying to make the mood better at all.
Hey,
He's
this
trying
is
to
scary,
tell a cool
all right?
story here.
This is
John's
scary.
John's excited, but he's hiding behind Brett.
He's real scared.
Oh, he's always too scared.
Anyways.
Okay.
So
We'll be
they-
fine, guys.
Yeah,
Everyone
thanks.
We've
becomes
got imaginations.
everyone becomes aware that this goat man. There's something out there
Right.
that is they can shapeshift or is a girl. They can't tell. But throughout the night, someone keeps watch inside this camper
It can
while everyone
shapeshift
else
or
sleeps.
it's a girl?
They can't tell. They don't.
Okay.
No one ever thinks,
Okay.
oh, it's a shapeshifter.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like
they
there's a
see
little boy
woman.
who looks like my brother.
But throughout the night, someone keeps watch, and next morning they all pack up and leave. But during the night, the guy counted how many people were with them, and he said there was 10. When they left, there was only 9. And because during the night, the goat man had snuck in through the bathroom window, which they had left open, and just laid down with them to keep watch of everyone. It just comes in. The goat man ever does is sneaks in, takes the place of somebody. And he will look. The way it works is that
don't like that.
he will not draw attention.
So hold on.
Yeah.
They came with 10. They left with 9.
They came with 9.
9. They left with
They
10.
counted
No,
10.
came with 9, left with
Counted
9,
10.
but they counted 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
he
now
was
I-
in
yeah,
there.
was
But
just
who would he
there.
take the place
He
of?
didn't take the place of anyone. He
just
looks nondescript.
Just
he just
imagine,
looks like
imagine
a
just
man.
feeling that breath on your neck and knowing like I went to sleep.
There's also a story where, like, in that same story, a girl did count during a previous day when they were there, and then someone went like this to her
Oh,
when she figured it out, and so like she didn't say anything because the goat man was like, "You do not."
I just got
Don't touch me when you
just
do
got
that!
shivers when you said that.
Isn't that so cool?
Scary.
Goatman. Goatman's the best.
Hold on.
Goatman is
Last
the best.
question. Why Goatman?
Oh, the form that they see it as if someone ever saw it when it's not shapeshifting is a man body with a goat head. That's why
So
it's
it's
Goatman.
what's a Baphomet? That's what they call him, a Baphomet.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
know, a
and
Baphomet.
what inverse-
Yeah, right?
What is the inverse of them? It's not a. It's
Baphomet.
a
Satyr.
Yeah.
Satyr.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
flip-flopped. Is
What's Mr. Tumnan?
he is
He's Narnia. He's Mr. Narnia.
He
Yeah, but
does-
what is he though?
Yeah, he's a Narnian.
He's a Narnia.
Fawn.
Fawn. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Fawn.
So what's the difference
fawn.
between a fawn and a satyr then?
Read up on Goatman. Goatman
That's
is terrifying. Read up on the Rake. Rake
Oh.
is terrifying. I
Oh.
think there's one more.
There's one more?
Yeah,
Okay.
we haven't gotten a question from JD.
Sorry. I apologize.
I will never sleep.
That doesn't. This
Read
one does not
Goatman.
apply. That one can't apply to any of us. Okay. I swear. I just take my word on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Nathaniel Spaniel on Reddit says,
like that.
If you were the kid in Home Alone, how would you deal with the robbers?
Call the cops. Call the cops.
That's what you would do. You would just do the cover. Just do that the entire time.
Call the cops.
If
Yeah.
I was home alone,
Huh?
The phones were out from the movie.
You couldn't run to the neighbor's house?
hey, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Okay.
That's
look,
very convenient,
This
then.
news is coming in. The phones didn't work during Home Alone. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I,
but-
I tell you what I wouldn't do.
What?
I didn't
A
know that.
series of little puzzles and
I know what I'll
challenges and, like,
I'm gonna set this wire across the
you
room.
I wouldn't have a tripwire. I wouldn't have like tar and chicken feathers. Like
have you ever? Okay, there's
I
two
would beg
different.
for my
Tar and
life.
chicken feathers?
Do you remember? They tar and
Did they
he
really
tar
do
and
that?
feathers
Ooh,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little
I would.
racist.
Why? What? How does that work?
Go on.
What's
It's a
that
different.
mean?
It's a
History.
different.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a whole
different
other-
time.
yeah.
Guys,
We don't have
I
time for
can't
this
be
right
held
now.
accountable because I don't know the history of America. Like is that something that I?
It's not
now-
actually racist. It's just something that happened back in the day that like we don't
Wasn't
wanna talk about.
great.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
It
I'm
wasn't
hearing
our
this for the
proudest moment.
first
Anyway,
time.
anyways, if you guys want to
Okay.
learn about
Well,
Home
I'm
Alone,
googling Goatman and everything else.
Yeah,
now.
okay, I'll
and
have to
then look
Google
up
after
racist
this.
things. But if you guys want like a fun video, look up the death count for Home Alone to show how many times people would actually die from all the like things he pulls on
The
them.
brick to the face.
The brick
Yeah,
to the face,
yeah.
the nail through the foot, the burnt hand on the doorknob.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that one.
I
Yeah,
would. Do you know what I
yeah.
remember most about that? It's not Harry. What's the other guy?
Marv. Wait, Harry
It's
Marv?
like, Harry.
Marv, we got a fact checker. Thank you.
Marv.
We
Yeah.
got Goatman.
His scream, that blood-curdling scream that he does when I think is either when he steps on the nail or he has the hot hand. But it's like.
Another video is Family Guy does a realistic robbery in Home Alone style, like when they're competent robbers, they walk in and the kid's like, "Don't worry, I have a tarantula," and they shoot the kid and the kid dies and they're like, "Well, now there's no witnesses."
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, I would try to call the cops. I would try to maybe run out of the house and like get out of there, or I'd just hide. I'd be like this. I am very weak when it comes to that sort of
Let's
stuff.
break it
honestly.
down. Why is a robber or an invader going into your house? To take valuable things.
Right.
They don't want to be caught. They don't want anyone to see them. I don't
Right.
think they're really in a violent mood. They're in a desperate part of it. Like they're in a desperate situation.
The wet bandits.
If someone walked in and they were like, shit, I'd be like, if you want it, take it. I can replace it. You're obviously down and out. Like, it's not worth killing anyone over.
No.
You know, that's my 2 cents.
That
on it.
scene at the end when the old man hits him in the face with a shovel would definitely kill him.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
He was
If
so
it wasn't,
they
scary.
did.
yeah. They
Oh, with
probably
the
had
shovel and
death
the
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
I think I would have not stayed by myself for that long if I was a child.
Yeah, I would have been out of that situation before it got to that point.
Also, in
And
the
my house
second
would
one,
be robbed.
he steals his dad's credit card, and his dad is so cool with it at the end of that movie. He bought a penthouse in New York.
Which was it? That
How
one?
do you...
Sorry, not bad, but bought. Whatever. What do you do? Motel. What?
Yeah,
Hotel.
that was two. So was
Hotel.
that the one where he like puts up the movie and like plays the audio and like scares the guys out of it? Or like the you're gonna get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's the first one.
that
What's
That
on
would
the first
never
one?
work.
Second one.
That would never
What, Merry
ever
Christmas, you
work.
filthy animal?
That's. But when he chases him out of the hotel is the second one because it has what's his name, best guy, the guy from Clue,
Ricky Gervais.
Rocky
Johnny
Horror
Depp.
Picture Show, Jesus
Susan
Christ,
Sarandon.
Oh,
Seth Rogen.
Tim Curry,
Curry.
Tim Curry.
That was my next
Tim
choice.
Curry. He's such a good character actor.
Oh, he's the best. I love Tim Curry.
I love curry.
Guys, let us know your thoughts on curry in the comments down below.
I'm all for a yellow curry, but there is this new one that's taking over my interest, which is like a red curry with a little bit of pineapple chunks in there, and then there's
Ooh,
like
pineapple.
I want to call them capsicum, but someone will be like, "What the fuck's a capsicum?" And
What is capsicum?
it's a red pepper.
Oh,
So
why can't you
a
just
one
say
red pepper.
See, not racist. Capsicum.
Is it? We said red pepper. And anyways, guys, let us know the effects of curry on your body in the comments down below. Mine, it blows through me like real fast.
Ooh, don't
like,
sweat it. You just spat on the table.
I probably did. You kissed the table. There's a lot of fluids on this table today.
I'm Maude Garrett.
I'm Sam.
I'm JD.
Send your questions, Twitter, hashtag Table Talk, Reddit, /r/SourceFed. Goodbye.
We're here to do heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People certainly seem to like it.
What about when you call someone fat? We're saying you loom large in our collective subconscious, you big fat fatty. This is bullshit!